Besides balancing in international relations, another main strategy for preserving the balance of power and preventing a country from becoming a potential hegemon is called buck passing. Buck passing is a strategy where a country chooses to pass the buck to another country. What this means is that instead of a country taking action itself to prevent a potential hegemon from rising, it passes the responsibility to another country. Basically, buck passing gets another country to deter or fight an aggressor country, while the country that's buck passing remains on the sidelines. So it's a strategy where a country refuses to confront a threatening country, hoping that another country will do it for them and deter or defeat the threatening country. And according to John Mearsheimer, countries can take 4 measures to facilitate buck passing. The first one is for the buck passer to seek good diplomatic relations with the aggressor, hoping that it will divert its attention to the buck catcher instead of the country that's passing the buck. The second one is to maintain good relations with the buck catcher country, the country that you're passing the responsibility to. This way, you don't get dragged into war with the buck catcher country, and as a result, end up increasing positive relations with the aggressor. The third one is to increase your military strength in order to deter the aggressive country and help it focus on the buck catcher. The fourth one is to facilitate the growth in power of the intended buck catcher. This means that you support the buck catcher country and provide it with means to increase its power. So if your country is in a situation where it's an enemy of both, the aggressor country and the buck catcher, then the buck passer can pursue a bait and bleed strategy. This means that the country causes the two countries to engage in war while it remains on the sidelines. This way it gains relative power while the two rivals fight each other. It can also pursue a bloodletting strategy, which means that the country will do what it can to increase the duration of the conflict. It does this in order to increase its own relative power, so the more that two countries fight, the more they will be worn off, and this way the buck passer gains more relative power. Many threatened countries prefer buck passing instead of balancing because it avoids the costs of fighting the aggressor country. However, when countries form balancing coalitions, there's also a possibility that they will free ride. This means that they will let the alliance partners do all of the heavy work of dealing with the enemy first and wearing it down. This leaves the military of the country that's free riding nice and fresh to enter at the final moments and win the final battles of war. So countries that are buck passing, they can also enter wars late, after all of the sides have been worn down, and in some cases, depending on what kind of war it was, it might be able to dominate the post-war period, the post-war world. An example of buck passing was during the 1930s, when both France and the Soviet Union tried to pass the buck to each other in the face of Nazi Germany. They both tried to have good relations with Hitler so that he will aim at the other country. However, even if a country passes the buck to another country, it's always possible that the aggressor country might defeat the buck catcher and focus its attention on the buck passer. So buck passing can be either a successful strategy or a failed strategy. An example of a buck passing failure was in World War II, where France could not handle Germany alone. The UK formed a balancing coalition with France, and the Soviet Union had passed the buck to France and the UK, and expected Germany to wear off in a long battle against the two buck catchers. However, Germany overtook France, leaving Germany free to attack the Soviet Union without Germany having to worry much about its Western front. And this way, by buck passing, the Soviet Union had to face Germany directly, instead of engaging against Germany at the same time as France and the UK. This way, the Soviets ended up fighting a much harder war. An example of successful buck passing was the United States when it entered World War II in 1941, but did not put its army in France until 1944, less than a year before the end of the war. So the costs of wearing down the German army fell on the shoulders of the Soviet Union. In this case, the US benefited from buck passing and delaying the invasion until late in the war, when both the German and the Soviet armies had been worn down. This way, the US was also in a more dominant position in the post-war period. So when you look at an issue of international relations, you can identify what strategy the country is going to take, because it's quite possible that they are going to try to buck pass. So if you want to improve your knowledge about international politics, you can check out my other videos on my channel where I explain some of the main concepts of international relations. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.